But what actually happens to the grid when you install a solar system which starts to export? Well, whenever a household exports electricity, the voltage in the local network rises. That's because for the inverter to be able to push electricity back to the grid, it has to operate at a slightly higher voltage than the grid is. Now, if lots of homes are exporting at the same time, that rise becomes even greater. The grid voltage has to stay within a safe range, specifically between 216 and 253 volts, and it's the DNO's job to make sure this happens. To check this, they model the worst case, which is your system exporting at full power on a sunny day, while other systems nearby are lightly exporting too. If the local transformers, cabling, or substations can't safely handle this export, the DNO will reduce the amount of generation or export that they approve. This does effectively mean that the national grid is first come, first serve. Imagine a cul-de-sac with 10 houses fed by one cable from a transformer that branches off to each home. That local network has a limited amount of headroom for microgeneration, like solar PV and batteries, which are exporting to the grid. When the first few houses install solar, they use up some of that available capacity. As more houses add systems, there's less export headroom left. So the later on homes may be given restrictions such as an export limit or reduced allowed generation. By the time you get to the last few houses, they might only be allowed to install the minimum export allowance of 3.68 kilowatts unless they pay for local network upgrades. In the Berkshire area, which is where our office is, 8 out of 10 houses will get at least 11 or 12 kilowatts of generation, but often with an export limit of about 7 or 8 kilowatts. There are some areas where the grid is especially weak and some areas where it's very strong. Often you just need to apply and find out what you're allowed to install.